playing the Cabrakan, but let's get into game number one and find out exactly where on the map he'll be playing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dave and Miff. And I think off script for the Leviathans might be one of the best ways to describe this, because this is normally, Gore, been a team that has
and
stuck
I don't
to
know that there's going to be a whole lot of fight over there in level 5, maybe, with Wrong U, but it's still a small lead that they can try to leverage.
Haddix versus Yarkor, but Lasbra's here. A blink in, a leap, just off the mark, but the screech is good, and Yarkor will go down for first blood. Lasbra striking first for the Olympus Bolts.
I mean, just gets right where you need him to go. You're looking at someone who's going to get
not going to find anything more. Shinto now rotating over himself. Will charge in, find the blink, auto stun onto Lasbra. The Tremors are locking Lasbra in place, but the silence will stop that one in its tracks. Wrong U, and now Lasbra caught inside the wall by Shinto. Nowhere to go, but it's a trade out. Mid lane, or I should say, support for the jungle.
I mean, that's going to work out better for the Levi's, right? Wrong U, worthwhile to get killed or to lose in a circumstance like that, where you're going to pick up Lasbra. You don't get the bat out of hell, so maybe that's where there's some balancing. Panatom has to be careful here. Yeah, trying to go for the steal. And in Season 8, that's what they did, right? And that's all they did.
Lasbra not getting out of there. Level 5 on the Camazotz. 2 levels down to Panatom. And ult connects onto Venenu. He's going to get thrown back. His beads are gone, and he should be down. He gets a quick transformation off just in time to turn into the Camazotz to get himself out. Even Haddix rotating over to try and match at least some of that pressure that Yarkor put through. Panatom will continue to push that pressure in. Venenu just
for the game. Now it feels weird because like you said, where do you put the pressure? It feels like Rat's going to get out of there pretty easily. In fact, he might even get another kill.
Well, Haddix goes up into the ultimate, but that does not give him enough HP. Pressure from Shinto and Hardcore will net the Leviathans yet another kill. A Trebuchet in the right lane to also put some pressure on this tier 1 tower. It was already hurting before. And there's not much that Lasbra can do. I mean, look at the level difference between him and the 2 people in the lane immediately by him. Hardcore, 2 levels up, Shinto 1 level up, and they're gonna fight right into it. Venenu gonna try and crash over there to give him some assistance, and it's much needed. Lasbra gets a few swoops in. Shinto not gonna make it out of here. Great move by Venenu to make his way over to that soul lane to help out his teammate. Tier 1 tower falls, but the Bolts get a trade kill. Maybe bit off more than they can chew. Venenu loses out on the beats, and the ultimate from Wrong U will pick him up. Will it be enough for the follow-up kill? It should be. Stun being channeled will only hit Wrong U. And can Venenu make it out of this one? Panatom blink by. That should be the kill on the mid.
Now BRZA, unfortunately, trying to save his mid laner. No, he bites it. And unfortunately, Lasbra's still fighting.
What is this arena game that we're playing? Now everybody is in the right lane right now. Wrong U, Panatom barely able to dash away. Second dash goes back towards the minions. Lasbra low, but Lasbra takes down Panatom. Wrong U, the only one of his teammates to make it out of all of that scuffling. And it's a 2 for, I believe, 2 trade during jungle. We see this Trebuchet now working its way and whittling down the tier 1 tower in mid. Lasbra sets up to try and slow it down, but he's gonna need some backup because there's 4 Leviathans in the lane. So 4v4 in the mid. Fields of Love will catch out Lasbra. That's half his HP gone in an instant. But now transformation by Haddix into the backline. Zapman's the one who's low. Lasbra doesn't make it into the back. As soon as he gets through, he gets popped by Shinto. Look at the low health bars on the Olympus Bolts. Haddix is not making it through this team fight, and neither is Venenu. Barracuda in the middle of 3. Barracuda gone, and it's only Awesome Jake left alive. And the Leviathans clean sweep that fight. I mean, even looking at the relic situation, a couple of them used during that fight, but sure, they're healthy enough for this Fire Giant.
Yeah, I love that play. I mean, Panatom gets a high impact, same thing for Hardcore, but I think the entirety of them get to burn it down. Panatom's ult has been so useful here, and again, Lasbra that time around, or sorry, Vin that time around had to transform the Nemesis to try and get away, get some disengage going. And so he lived a little longer, not quite as long as maybe wanted.
But something I noticed during the fight was the Sunder that Wrong U has picked up and already maxed out. I kind of feel like it goes over to the Cthulhu. Yarkor 3v1ing and kind of winning this 3v1. A transformation by Venenu into the Cabrakan puts too much damage for Yarkor to handle. The 3v1 that he was winning not going so well once Venenu gets a priority transformation. For the rest of the Leviathans, now sweeping out this mid lane tier 1 tower. Panatom on the way. Should make this for a nice and easy 1v1, which will force Barracuda out of the fight. He'll go back to mid towards Shinto, dives away from the wall just in time. But now Venenu is back here on his own. Shinto, half HP, but a dunk in from Yarkor to the backline puts Barracuda with no relics now. Yarkor is fine. We'll go on Venenu. who might not make it out of this fight. One more ability from Yarkor will seal the deal. It's the flurry to do so. And the Leviathans are up with one-man advantage going into the fire.
Man, talk about plan gone wrong, huh? You get the rotation in.
Oh, the rotation over, at least by LASBRA. See, the Leviathans taking a while to be able to get into these Phoenixes, but they're slowly poking it away. Zapman will now get a few autos in. Silence and the Rue will hold Zapman in place, but he's not taking a whole lot of damage. Yarkor up on the tree. Will dunk on top of Venenu. That only calls for Shinto to go in. The walls have been broken, and so has Venenu. He is taken down instantly. Yarkor finds one. Haddix is being shredded away in this Cthulhu, but Barracuda finds a double kill in the fight. Jake goes down. It's a dump for Panatom, but one for Haddix, and Haddix and Barracuda are healthy enough to fight this back. Yarkor can't do enough damage. Wrong U can't do enough damage. Barracuda up in the sky. Where will he go to? Back towards Wrong U to try and kill off the support. One more hit is all it's gonna take, but Wrong U delays it for just long enough. It's a 3-for-4 trade for the Olympus Bolts, and both Phoenixes live.
Look, I like the call from the Levi's there. If you can't showcase of what this team can do when everything lines up. And now that they've got that, I mean, that's a pretty big swing. You know, now you're looking at experience being pretty much equal across the board. If Jake dies, this is a big deal.
Jake taking a lot of damage. The ultimate is good, locks him down in place, and Jake will go down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. And now Haddix has reinitiated with LASBRA. Panatom low, Wrong U low, Panatom gone, and Wrong U maybe short behind, but Yarkor able to pick off Venenu in the backline, doing his best to distract the Olympus Bolts. They make it a 2-for-2 trade, but LASBRA's damage output is so immense, but there's just no minions here for the Bolts to push into the tier 2 or tier 1 tower. And Gore, the Bolts are doing all of this
specifically on the Shinto and burn Shinto down fast, that it's worth being the aggressor. But I think that the counter initiation from the Levi's is just really strong. You can see there from Jake. It's going to be the Levi's stepping forward.
Fields of Love gets the beads from Barracuda. Dashing the wall, gets him away from the knockup from Yarkor. Venenu, half health, transforms into Cthulhu. So now we finally get that double Cthulhu coming out from the Bolts. And what is it doing? Well, it's repelling the Leviathans for now. They're not really willing to fight back in, but the Bolts are bringing the fight back to them. Zapman hit by the double knockup, and it should be a D-transform out of Haddix. And Venenu now. Barracuda out of the fight. Venenu out of the fight. It's a double kill for Zapman on the Cupid.
Yeah, the team wanted to fight forward. Panatom uses the ult. The Sunder gets used, and they don't kill either of the two Cthulhus. They just grab BRZA and kill off BRZA, and then all of a sudden that crit damage, all of the damage that BRZA was putting out is just off the board. I mean, look at the next highs. I mean, he's almost 10K above the next carry on his team. And then you lose Vin after the transformation. It's just a good fight for
3 versus 5 under the Titan. Jake will silence out a couple, but Shinto is still tremoring away. Panatom is still swinging away. LASBRA goes down, Yarkor goes up, down onto Awesome Jake. It's a double kill for Panatom, and a game 1 for the Atlantis Leviathans. 33 minutes in to kick off their set.
I think a really good return to form here for the Leviathans, right? I mean,
bit up against the Erlang Shen, the jungle matchup, the team matchup, very exciting. Are we on the verge of another 2-0 here today? Leviathans versus Bolts. Game number 2 starts right now.
Well, I mean, if you throw it back to the pregame interview, was the Leviathan saying that it should be a 2-0, but it was the Bolts saying that it might be a 2-1. Well, the Bolts are going to have to work real hard in game number 2 if they want to make that a 2-1 dream for themselves at least. We jump into game number 2 now between the Bolts and the Leviathans. J-Mac, Gore, and Doug bringing the action for this second game of our second set.
That happens to come with a lot of damage and a decent chunk of survivability as we saw throughout those last games.
LASBRA versus Panatom. It was about even as far as their trade is concerned. Meanwhile, dual lane, we saw the beads burned away from Barracuda, and that's something that Mifflin was talking about on the desk. And now we're going to go right back to LASBRA. No beads available. Gets the stun onto Shinto. Does he have the distance? No, the pin is back up for Panatom, which means it's another kill and a first blood going to the Atlantis Leviathans.
I mean, that one feels like it's an unfortunate no matter what you do, you're going to die, because Panatom either has Pen or is going to have the 72 transformations at some point.
I think that's where a lot of the eye of interest may be into the dual lane, because all it takes is one combo just like this to maybe bring the Hunter down. Barracuda running away from the tower line to try and get out. Zapman hit by the roar. Wrong U misses the dash, and now it's Zapman. The one in danger. The knockup is good. The root is good. Silence, one more auto. Or maybe just the leap from Awesome Jake, but they're both off the mark. The heart bomb will hit Jake, but Barracuda will strike him down. The trap lands on a Wrong U. The root will hit as well, but it's Zapman, the one to go down in the duo.
I'm just going to buy Sprint, and we're out of there. Artemis is 2. gives her, that Vengeful Assault, gives her immunity to slow, so she just gets out of that for free.
Oh, Lasbra doesn't have his stun to get out of the tremors. He's locked down. Yarkor credited to the kill, but Shinto put in all the work to make sure that Lasbra had no escape from that prison that he got trapped in inside the blue buff. Leviathans off to a good start on the right side of the map.
Honestly, I like the pressure they're putting in. Unfortunately that they don't get the kill onto BRZA, and actually now that BRZA has maybe a slight lead over Zap, in the 1v1 they'll have to be a little more careful. Granted, a lot of that, I will say, that is from a time.
Just leave him alone.
Lasbra.
Just leave him alone. Venenu's here to try and help out and turn this into a 2v3, but Lasbra has no ultimate, no
That's
HP,
bully. This is
no way to
cyberbully.
get out. Bead's gone from Venenu. He's going to make it out, but now that BRZA's rotated over, could be good. But Tusky's stuck in place. Didn't find any value from that ultimate except onto one. Jake picks up Shinto and at least able to turn around something, get one more kill up for the Bolts, but maybe Leviathan's a little overzealous going for the speed invades. And then his purple buff was being invaded by Zapman. He's able to secure it. Now now Haddix is gonna need some help. Turtle form in, so much CC. A good knockup by Haddix, but a better ultimate by Yarkor will slam him right down. One more hit, and it's the King Arthur with the credit. 2-0-1 for the solo laner of the Leviathans.
And you know what, what's interesting, you know, because I reference it and you reference that, I reference it, the matchup between the Artemis and the Cupid, that goes back to like Season 2, Season 3, when Artemis still had crit.
Oh no, Barracuda just getting bullied, gonna hold on to the beads, realizing that this is a dead in the water scenario for him, but same for Panatom in the mid lane, as a three-man grouping from the Bolts kills off the jungler, a 1-for-1 trade, at least over for the Olympus Bolts and Leviathans here. And one thing that we use that ultimate, but a blink initiation into the mid lane. Lasbra in the middle of two. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel picks up just Panatom. And execute by Lasbra is used to get out, but he goes right into Wrong You, and that sets up for an easy rotation out of Hardcore to pick up a nice kill. 3-0 for the solo laner of the Leviathans. And these walls, all these rotations, are just routing player by player to be funneled into death.
I mean, and that's the glory of watching this composition, watching this team build as they grow. I think that we're looking at, you know, right there, BRZA drops the ult, but the team fight potential BRZA has is massive.
Wrong You caught out in the mid. The fire from Ven, not enough to burn down. Lasbra needs a little bit of extra help after the execute got body blocked by Panatom. At the end, the Olympus Bolts able to find their one pick, and now there's an opportunity to go over towards this Pyromancer. But
the thing is, and again, you know, you were mentioning like where is it that the Bolts can focus on. I think them having Merlin on their squad, as we watch BRZA's build now with the Shuriken being built into, I think we're about to start seeing the beginning of the burn for them, right? Where their damage is really going to start.
Double taunt by Panatom. Wall catches out Haddix. Nowhere to go. Great rotation by Shinto to lock down the solo laner of the Olympus Bolts and put another kill up for the Levi's.
I mean, this is just clean play from the Levi's. Like that's really what we're looking at is just really concise targeting and really good target swap.
Jake picks up Panatom though. Transformation out of Venenu. Will net a kill now for the Olympus Bolts, but now the Yarkor is here. That's turned around and gone sour for the Bolts. A 1-for-1, and Yark can keep going. If it weren't for the fact there's a tier 2 tower standing in his way, Venenu and Awesome Jake may want to thank their structure
like
for
a
being
ticking time bomb, but I feel like the damage for the Bolts should be on the rise here.
No, Barracuda. We were talking about bullying on Lasbra earlier. Now it's just bullying on Barracuda. Catches him at his own totem, or not his own totem, his own obelisk on his left side. And that tower was got to be sitting on what it feels like 10 HP at this point. A single
Panatom. And if it's not that, then it's like being brought up into the air by King Arthur or Hardcore finding a stun as well. I mean, everybody has something to continue that chase. This could be a good turnaround for the Bolts.
Oh, if they can grab Shinto, doesn't have his beads. Shinto will go down. Credit over to Venenu for that kill. But now Panatom and Zapman have rotated over. Furious Roar will slow down the DPS of Panatom, but with Zapman, Yarkor, and Panatom here, could be a turnaround onto the Bolts. They stick around for too long. Taunted by Panatom, catches Jake, and gets the beads away from the Xing Chen. Yarkor has made the rotation, and Venenu is not safe for long. Haddix is here, but Awesome Jake is no longer.
I mean, at this point, you can just continue forward. Look at the numbers advantage. Zapman, though, in a little bit of trouble. Pressure from Lasbra.
Panatom low. Lasbra used his ult to get away, but then he's got to use his beads to get out of the Shadow Lock. Panatom, on a sliver of HP, will find his way out. The Olympus Bolts only go down with a 1-for-1 trade. Haddix wants to get in, has the blink, gets the beads out of Zapman this time around. And now it's the Olympus Bolts pushing Leviathans out.
I like that pressure though. If the Bolt's probably a kill. That opens up a fire giant for you. So I think the Levi's can play a little against the mentality of the Bolts here, but also look for picks.
Oh, Haddix will land into Fields of Love and a heart bomb. Beads aren't going to save you from all that, CC, my friend. That's an easy kill for Zapman on his rotation over. And now with Haddix off the board, that opens up the fire giant to the Atlantis Leviathans. It doesn't seem that anyone from the Bolts can really step up, even if they wanted to. I mean, BRZA and Jake are being zoned back. Jake does make it into the back line, but the Atlantis Leviathans get the fire giant. Now that Jake has left his team, Barracuda is the one who goes down. Yarkor on a rampage. Lasbro will shut him down right away with the execute. Venenu running through the tower to get back. Awesome Jake narrowly avoids death. Heart bomb will find him. Is it going to be a stun? Will Jake go down? He will, not from the stun, but from the autos after from Zapman. Fire giant on 4, and Leviathan's poised to take much more than just that.
I just love that. Look, I think that chasing down Jake, you have the options. Do you go for Laz? Do you go now? The Levi's are starting to go for the fire giant, but look, everybody's in a better position to try and collapse in.
Jake finds Zapman, gets knock up, gets the root.
Look at Merlin.
And holds him back. Taunt in by Panatom, gets immune away. The bubble will keep him from being pulled up. And the Fields of Love will hold down 3 for now. The fire just out of range for Venenu. Yarkor dealing with Barracuda in the back on the other side of the fight. The walls are down by Shinto, but Zapman is the first casualty of the fight. Now Yarkor stuck in the middle of 5. Haddix comes back in, but Yarkor finds Barracuda. Both of the hunters gone, and Venenu shortly after. The fire giant has been brought into the fight, and it's wrong you to take down Venenu. Shinto low, Panatom low, but the damage output is just enough to keep them out. Awesome Jake gets rooted out and taken down.
Look, I would be honest, absolutely frustrated, and maybe just furious. If I'm the Bolts, you gotta kill him. Okay, good. They get rid of Hardcore and at least pull 1 number back in their favor, because so many people on the Levi's, they get so close to dead. But the turnaround is there. Look, that's a great engagement, I think, from the Bolts. You come in, you separate the fight. You bring the carries off to one side, you bring the others off. I was really hoping, I was wondering if they were going to stand there. Actually, now that I see the ward, I'm glad they didn't just stand there and wait for an ambush. It would have gone very poorly. And look, now they're separated. They might be able to work with it.
The silence stops Haddix in his tracks. Lasbra caught in the walls and nowhere to go. Zapman finds the first pick of the fight. The shell has been popped. Haddix and Venenu try to walk away, but try is the key word. And fail they will do so. Yarkor finds a stun onto Haddix, who gets a dash of his own back to the safety of his team. Only 3 bolts left, and it should be an easy fire giant for the Leviathans.
Yeah, at that point, just go ahead and walk in there. I expect after the next fight, that's going to be much higher or unchanged if they can get to him quick enough.
They're going to do something. There's an Emperor's Armor by Jake, so that's slowing down the Phoenix Siege of the Leviathans. But there's still Shinto and Panatom to the middle of the map. Phoenix does not live long once Zapman's given a moment. Yarkor into the backline, finds Venenu. The beads are gone. Venenu will avoid being picked up. Wrong you. He's going to lock in a few, and Shinto finds Barracuda with the help of the rest of the Leviathans. 5 versus 4. No Phoenixes left, and minions in tow. The Leviathans are poised to take that 2-0 that Panatom was calling earlier in the day, that he was calling in the interview, and it may just be so. Fields of Love erases Venenu. Awesome Jake makes it to the fountain, but Haddix is not so lucky. It's only Lasbra and Jake left. Jake gets pulled out of the fountain to get taken out, and Lasbra will fall immediately after. Double for Shinto, and a 2-0 for the Atlantis Leviathans.
If you were wondering how quick numbers can change, Zapman went from